This is one of my least favorite episodes of Deep Space Nine. I don't know. I mean, it's got a lot to it, but it just felt weird because like he goes down to Bajor and there's this whole weird ritual with this Bajoran thing, and it doesn't quite make sense. Like if it was on a random planet and this was a random TNG episode, I would have felt a little better about it. But like this really doesn't fit with the rest of the lore of like Bajoran culture and the like. And Miles just acted really cringy during the whole thing. So let's get into the Storyteller on a new deal here. Please hit the like and subscribe button as we talk about all things Star Trek. And I'm just going through Star Trek Deep Space Nine, reviewing it as I have time. This has been a lot of fun so far. Really appreciate you guys for reading and watching and being here. I have a new Substack up, actually, and this is where I've got some comics I'm posting. And these are my comics. If you enjoy my talks on things, you can read them all here for free. You can start. We've got the full issue of Flying Sparks, issue 1. Issue 2 just started today. Get on this is in the description below. Thanks for being here, and thanks for signing up, guys, and reading some cool stuff. I appreciate you being here. So, yeah, this is quite the interesting one as Miles O'Brien goes down to the Bajoran village, and it starts out like the relationship between Bashir and O'Brien starts out kind of rocky. He kind of is annoyed by Julian Bashir at first, and then they develop into besties later on in the series. And you get to hear there's one where they play this like futuristic racquetball where he's like gets really competitive with Julian for a while. And in season 2, it kind of it starts to progress a little bit as more. This is one right there as is a big deal as well, and it's pretty interesting. Watching them go through this. So O'Brien gets down to this village where they make him this dude called the Syrah, who's like this like giant storyteller to like make the village go or whatnot. And there's this whole like monster that kind of shows up for the village, and it's kind of some weird thing. It's called the Dalrock, and it threatens the village, and it's all based on some sort of lore that Bajorans have back there. Like I said, this doesn't really work with the whole like Bajoran culture. If they would have done a random Gamma Quadrant group or whatever, I think it would have felt a little better. Just didn't feel natural, didn't feel right. Now, on the other side of things, we have the B plot this time is a Jake and Nog story. There's a lot of Jake and Nog stories over this stuff in the first couple of seasons where they just kind of are dealing with random things, and Nog's trying to get in with this girl at this whole situation, and hijinks ensue as he keeps trying to impress her over the course of the episode. Kind of forgettable stuff on that level. Now, this one, O'Brien ends up becoming like the master storyteller, and like they want him to live there on the planet, and he's like, I can't do that. I got a wife back home, and they're like offering women to him, and of course they're offering big baskets of fruit and things like that. And it blows up. Somebody tries to kill O'Brien because, like, you know, he was the one who was supposed to be the Syrah and all that. And O'Brien's happy to give it back at the end. And he sees that he doesn't know how to tell the story properly. And whatever this thing is that's set up, the other guy knows how to do it. It really just seemed fake. It was really bad CGI. And this is too early in CGI, maybe, for this type of thing to happen on this level. And the guy grabs his position back, and then, of course, Julian and O'Brien just get out of there. And then it gets never referenced again, like so many episodes. It starts like a TNG sort of thing, the series, like where a lot of these things just never get referenced again in the show. And you'd think if there's like this whole like weird situation going on Bajor, they would deal with it because they are so close to Bajor all the time. But again, it just didn't fit with any of Bajoran culture, and so I think the writers just were like, this was kind of a miss of an episode, and they just kind of ignored it for the continuity purposes of everything else going on pretty later. One of the weakest episodes of the series, and it does show, like, even though a lot of the stuff that's been boring on the station because they're trying to, like, be a procedural thing on the station, and they went off the station on this one to try to, like, spice things up a little bit, it like they really don't know how to do this, which is interesting in DS9. Really pretty close until they get the Defiant. Once they get the Defiant, things start changing pretty rapidly. But gosh, I've got a long ways to go before I get there. I'm slogging through these. Now, pretty interesting. a video the other day, an interview with Peter David, who said he really didn't like the premise of Deep Space Nine and thought that the pilot was pretty terrible. Pretty interesting that he thought that on that level as well. Says the potential for characters there, but they really just didn't execute properly. And that's exactly what this feels like right here. There's potential for the characters for Miles and Julian, and I see it later from other episodes, and I see that this is pretty interesting trying to get to that point, but it just failed even on the personal level of the relationships between them in this. Yeah, sad, boring episode. I call this one like a 5 out of 10. Like I said, stinker. Leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Please hit the like and subscribe button. We'll be back soon.